98.9 FM. Coach's Corner, live from the Long Branch, is brought to you by Kruger Contracting, Avera St. Mary's, Bank West, Fording Electric, and Gales Gas. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Edward Jones Financial, Gateway Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota, Midwest Co-op, and Oahe Federal Credit Union. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Lamb Motor, First Dakota National Bank, Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, and Wagner Auto. And now, live from the Long Branch in downtown Pierre, it's award-winning KCCR Sports Director, John Winkler.
And a good evening as we welcome you here to the Long Branch. We're joining here with Coach Steve Steele. We're going to jump right into it here. And joining me, Coach Steve Steele, the Hawaii Capitals. And, Coach, it's good to talk to you. And we'll jump right into the final game of the regular season against Sioux Falls 1. Now, there's not a lot. You can't jump up at all. You are locked in to the 4th spot at highest. You can still potentially drop down to 5th or 6th if you lose, and then everything goes right. Aberdeen and Sioux Center both have to go 2-0, which they're going to be playing two of the better teams in the state. So it's most likely that you're sitting in the 4th spot. But let's talk about the Sioux Falls 1 team. Chance to get a little bit of revenge, play on the rink where you're going to be playing the state tournament. Some good things can come out of this contest.
Yeah, this is still a hockey game. We want to go down and we want to finish our regular season, our league season on a high note. Like you said, we want to go back and get them, and if nothing else, just show ourselves that we can beat a top 3 team. Those are the top 3 teams. Then Brookings and Rushmore, and we were close, but no cigar on all 3 of them. So, I think going down there and finding a way to pull out a win would just go a long way for our confidence as we head into the state tournament.
And of course, if you fall the 6th seed, you fall the 6th seed, and you're going to try and beat those top 3 teams that win a state championship, but. You want to be as high as you possibly can. You'd like to have that be the home team in the 4-5 matchup to get that last change because you guys like to play a little matchup game.
Yeah, you saw how important and frustrating the changes were this last weekend, and what a difference it can make having that last change. So that's obviously the advantage of the 4 seed is that's the only one where you're guaranteed one game of that last change. I guess it's not really home. It's all neutral site, but right. Where you get the last change. So, because if you're the 5 seed, then obviously theoretically, if you're winning, you're not getting it the whole way through. So, it's definitely be an important thing. And if we can find a way to get a point, then we're guaranteeing ourselves that.
One thing that we want to talk about last week here, Keller Herman went down with an injury, ended up going to the hospital. How's he doing, and how are things progressing over the last couple of days?
Yeah, it was a very scary situation. Definitely. Something that you don't really want to have to see happen ever again. But he's doing better. He was he was in school today, kind of in just one classroom, trying to somewhat keep up as much as he could. But he's hurting. It's everything's coming back, which is a very positive thing. He's got his feeling and his movement back, which has been just amazing to see. Because I said it was quite the scare there, and he'd feel the same way, and it encourages everyone. Just thank you so much for the prayers and the thoughts for him. That they made a difference. So he's got a little ways to go yet. He'll get kind of reevaluated again towards the tail end of this week. But and most importantly, it's not looking like there's going to be anything lasting coming out of this.
And so now the obviously, since we're at this point right now, I'll ask the question because it kind of sounds like he's got a chance to still play in the state tournament before the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the thing goes this week. This weekend's for sure no. And we'll just kind of take things from there. When I was talking to him, yesterday, a lot of it is just hey, if you can, that's awesome. But let's make sure this isn't a leg where if you go back out there and something happens, you hurt your leg and you have to wait a little longer for it to heal. This is very serious. So I know it's very hard for him to not, to be okay not playing, I know this is going to be a hard week for him, but I said ultimately we've got to make sure that he's going to be good for his life.
Right.
And so he said we'll see. We'll know a little bit more towards the tail end of this week when he's to go back in and kind of get a checkup on how everything's going. And like I said, we'll just kind of go from there. But right now we're very happy that we've gotten him to where like I had anything to do with it. Like the doctors have gotten him to where he needs to be.
Yeah, and that's and of course nobody's going to blame him at all if he's unable to play in the state tournament. But after what happened last weekend, the thought wasn't anywhere near of playing hockey this year. As it wasn't even about hockey at all. It's just that he was going to be okay, and now that he is okay and getting better, that's pretty not chilling, but gives you kind of chills that he's got an opportunity to potentially still play this season, which would be a big boost because he's, the Capitals team is a better team with Keller Herman in the lineup.
Yeah, we definitely are, and it was a really good, it was an awesome win on Sunday to go out there, where everyone, there was no hiding. Everyone was very, very much playing for Keller. And I know he got to watch our game in some stylish clothes thanks to his dad who went out and bargain shopped for him because they'd cut everything off at the hospital. But, he was in good spirits and, really I think he gave the guys a lot of inspiration and motivation to play on Sunday. And then, I'm hoping that everyone was able to give it back to him here as he kind of entered into this little road of recovery he's got.
Again, talking with Coach Steve Steele here, the Y Capitals. We're going to wrap things up here shortly, but this is an important weekend just to kind of get everything right. And then JV has their state tournament. But what's the next weekend and the weekend, or the next week and the week after leading up to the state tournament? How much recovery goes into it? How much maybe a couple more days off for the varsity guys? Obviously, JV's got to continue to get ready for the JV state tournament. But how much recovery? How much do you kind of push them a little bit more? How's that next 2 weeks going to look?
Well, this next week, the week of the JV state tournament, we kind of will go hands off with most of our guys that are going to play in the JV state tournament. We really want to allow those guys to focus on just them for that week, and prepare for their tournament. Varsity, we'll kind of do some of our own stuff. We've got some ideas to stay competitive. That'll make it fun. But not a ton of skill work at this point. There's, at this point of the season, it's pretty much just being healthy and getting ready to play. And, hopefully next week we can kind of do that, both varsity keeping them competitive and the JV guys, giving them a full week of preparation, as opposed to really we kind of only have 1 day apart right now where we kind of go varsity and JV separate. And then that following week will be the varsity's turn, where it's going to be 4 straight days of, really just getting down to business and really looking at game plans and, what we need to do to beat our first round opponent.
Again, Sioux Falls won on Saturday in Sioux Falls. You actually got to go on the road again. That's going to feel kind of weird too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. We'd seen the Iceplex had a electrical issue or something on Monday or Sunday. Yeah, I think it was on Monday. I was leaving practice and got a text with a post from the Iceplex saying that, all events are canceled here until further notice with energy. And I'm like, how about that? Maybe we get one more.
They're going to come back over here.
But they were fixed the next day. So I think we're going to end up going there.
So whether it's here or there, most likely there, you can catch it on Capital City Rock or watch it on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. I'll have the call starting with coverage at around 5:10 and puck drop at 5:30 on Saturday as the Caps take on Sioux Falls 1 to wrap up the regular season. Final question is, what's it going to take to knock off Sioux Falls 1 on Saturday?
I think the biggest thing, they've got a tremendous goalie. I don't know for sure that we'll see Flanagan. They've got a 3-game weekend to finish the season out. But finding ways to get traffic in front. I think we outshot them last time. I think you could argue that we outplayed them last time, but their goalie was tremendous. And, we didn't do enough to take away his eyes and help him lose his focus. So we've got to do a better job of that no matter who's in net.
Coach Steve Steele, the UI Capitals. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you in the pregame show.
Thanks, John.
That is head coach Steve Steele, the UI Capitals. Will return with more Coaches Corner after this here on at KCCR. Live for the Long Branch.
DT and Dale here for the Long Branch in downtown Pier. The LB is a great place to kick back, relax, and unwind.
It has been for years, and it has a fantastic menu for lunch or dinner. Love that variety.
Yeah, good point. But we would be remiss if we didn't tell you about the best wings in town.
Tuesdays at the LB, try the delicious wings. And the more you buy, the more you save. The LB, the Long Branch in downtown Pier. Now the home of KCCR's Coach's Corner, Wednesday evening. mix.
This winter, sip on a delicious hot cocoa and lose yourself in the grace of a fresh falling snow before you smash that hot mug on the driveway and join First Dakota to bank some noise for winter sports. Stomp for block shots, holler for match-sealing takedowns, and go berserk for a perfect dismount. Let's give the home team all we've got. Bank some noise with us at First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakota.com, member FDIC.
Looking for your next new or used car, truck, or SUV? Then go no further than the comfort of your own home. Shop online at lambmotor.com. On lambmotor.com, you'll find vehicles Lambs has in stock. You can schedule a test drive or your vehicle's next tune-up, all online. New or used, shop for it all online, anywhere you are. Lamb Motor has the right vehicle for you. Lamb Motor in Oneida and online, lambmotor.com.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
This is Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota Sports Station, AM 1240, today's KCCR.
As we welcome you back here to Coach's Corner, live from the Long Branch here on KCCR, as we are joined here with Coach Brian White of the Soybeans Chargers, as the Soybeans Chargers will actually take on the North Central to finish out the season on Friday. Their regular season will come to an end, and the region tournament will begin next week. So, Coach, as you get prepared for this week and for this one game this weekend against North Central, a little bit difficult because of a school being canceled on Tuesday, and you have to try and work around that because there's no practice. So, what now with the extra, not even extra day, kind of losing a day of practice? What does that does that change how you kind of prepare for this week?
Probably not. You know, we're at a point in the season where if you're having to make a bunch of adjustments and do a lot of new things, you're probably not in a very good spot. So at this point, it's a lot of getting shots up, making sure our legs are still healthy and we're not running people into the ground. We're doing all those things to make sure that we're ready to play. You go through a scouting report. You make sure you're crisp on the things that you want to try to execute offensively, and then you kind of get out of the gym. I mean, your practices are a little bit shorter at this point in the year. So, and as busy as we've been this year, a couple days off on legs doesn't probably hurt our kids at all.
Yeah, you know, you guys went through a little bit of games being postponed, and all of a sudden then you still got to try and make up those games, and you were able to make up all those games that you had lost at that point, but it really turned into playing, maybe having a practice, then playing again, if not having, okay, we're going to go to Timberlake one day, then we're going to go to, let's see, what was it, Hitchcock, Tulare, Miller, Timberlake, Stanley County, Hitchcock, Tulare, all those road games all in a row that you probably are, it is probably nice to have a day off or two, even if it's unexpected.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think we went 2 or 3 weeks in a row where we played 4 games in a week. So somewhere in there we had to play a back-to-back, and then we'd get a Wednesday off, and then we'd either play another back-to-back or we'd play a Thursday, Friday, or it was a tough stretch just due to we went through a weird battle with sickness in the middle of the year that really cost us a couple games, and didn't cost us games. I guess it forced us to postpone some games and change some things up, and it just kind of turned our schedule into a really difficult stretch there. And a lot of those games were on the road, which really made it even a little bit more of a difficult stretch.
Well, and I think too that you guys played fairly well throughout this stretch. I mean, as hard as it was to play all these games in that short amount of time, there's maybe a 1 or 2 games where you're saying, hey, we probably should have played better than what we did, or at least the score we should have played a little bit better. But really overall, to ask these kids to do this and to come away with some of the wins that you did and some of the close losses that were within reach of beating some good teams, I mean, that's a pretty strong run to have for any team in the state.
Yeah, I thought we made some really nice runs throughout the year. We were playing really well, and then all of a sudden we got sick, and I think we missed about 11 or 12 days in there, and our coming back off that, we didn't get a lot of practice time prior, and that might have kind of affected a couple games for us. And then our kids, we started to play well again, and we've had kind of a Jekyll and Hyde season, I guess you could say, where there's nights where we played really, really well and we could beat anybody, and then there's nights where we don't look like we'd be able to beat our sixth grade team every now and again. We just don't play to our ability level. So it's been an interesting year, but the one thing about this group is they played hard all the way through. They've been really fun to coach. They show up to practice every day with great attitudes and a lot of excitement to be there, and they like playing with each other, and so that's made it a lot of fun this year.
Again, talking with Coach Brian White here of the Sully Beach Chargers, who will take on North Central on Friday, and that is the final game of the regular season. And North Central coming in at 2-17. The Chargers right now at 8-11. Right now, where it sits in the 2B standings, it looks like things will be where you guys will be the 7th seed and have to play on that scheduled on that Monday, which most likely will be against Sunshine Bible Academy. I mean, at this point, you're probably looking at the standings a little bit more, but also with only one game to play, there's not going to be much movement between teams.
No, you kind of know where you're at this point, and there was a game or two in there. You look back and you're like, oh, if we would have taken care of this one or played a little bit better this night, maybe we'd stay out of that first round. But that's not what happened, and so we are where we've put ourselves in this situation that we'll play on Monday, and then we'll have to be ready to go on Tuesday. But one thing about the way our schedule's played out, that's nothing new for us. We've played a lot of back-to-backs this year. We understand how to get ready to play 2 nights in a row and how to prepare for multiple games throughout. If you got a couple practices, so we'll have. Looks like we'll probably have 3 practices before we go and play again. That we'll be able to use those 3 practices to prep for multiple scenarios. So we'll be ready to go, and I think our kids will be prepared. And sometimes getting that first game in and getting some of the anxiety out early on about being part of playoff basketball is not the worst thing in the world either.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about your opponent on Friday. I haven't talked about them yet. North Central, 2-17. What do you expect from them? What have you seen from them on film?
We really haven't got a whole lot into the North Central thing at this point. We're really focused on what we have to do to be better. I really self-evaluate us a lot. Take a look at where we are and what we need to do, and if we do what we need to do, we'll be just fine, and we'll be able to take care of things that we need to do. So we're still working on executing the stuff that we want to execute and prepping for tournament play at this point in time.
So, and maybe if you want to expand on that, what do you need to do on Friday against North Central?
We need to execute our stuff offensively. Defensively, we're still. Every now and again, some of our rotations are not what we want, so we're still working on some of our rotations and getting in the right spot there. So if we do those things better, and then we got to rebound the basketball, that's probably been our biggest Achilles heel, or the reason that we win games is when we rebound the ball well, we seem to play really well. So that's kind of been a major focus in practice of rebound the basketball and just being in the right spots in our rotations. Because when you got to rotate, you got to find new people to block out, and you got to find new ways to rebound the basketball. And sometimes it means the small guys got to rebound against the big guys. Sometimes it means the bigger guys got to be able to block out a guy that's quicker than him. So we continuously work on those things in practice to get in the right spots so we can rebound the basketball, because when we rebound the basketball, we're a pretty good team, and when we lose the rebounding battle, we tend to struggle a little bit.
Again, talking with Coach Brian White here of the Sully Beach Chargers. Take on North Central on Friday to close out the season, and then we'll start the region tournament. Of course, DT Meyer have the coverage throughout your Riverfront broadcasting stations. Before we wrap things up here, as our time's starting to run short here, talk about your seniors. Those guys that have been with you for the last several years, what they mean to this team, but what they mean to Sully Buttes and the lasting impact that they'll have with Sully Buttes.
we've got a group of three really good seniors. The Shaw brothers, Jordan and Jesse, both have had great careers throughout for Sully Buttes. Jesse's been an all-state football player. Jordan's has been an multiple-year all-conference football player for us, and they've both had really good years this year. Jordan hadn't played a lot of varsity minutes prior to this year, and he's come in and he's kind of been our leader. He's been our kind of the guy that's when we don't play very well, he's kind of pushed guys to get things done in practice and be better and not take this for granted, So he's had a great year in that sense of showing a ton of leadership, being kind of our rock guy, the guy that when we need something done, he pushes guys to get them in the right spot and pushes guys to continue to compete. Jesse's been kind of the big guy in the middle for the last couple of years. He does a great job on the glass. He's probably our best defender / rebounder, and does a lot of the dirty work. You don't see him in the scorebook very often, but he just gets a lot of things done on the floor for us, and we're really going to miss him as well. And then Dwight Kinney has kind of had a breakout year for us. He's been able to really score the basketball for us this year. He's probably been our one or two scoring option throughout the year, and he's done a lot of things that have really pushed us forward. He's defended better down the stretch, and hopefully we get a few more games out of him, and he's able to get some things done underneath the hoop and rebound the basketball and do all those things. So those three have had really good years, and really proud of them. They've been a big part of our program to this point, and they're just really good kids, to be honest with you. They're really fun to be around. They care about their teammates. They care about the people around them, and they really care about our community. That's one thing about them. I think they all come and they'll ref little kids basketball. They'll do what it takes to help out our community, and they're very invested in our community. So we'll miss those three a bunch when it all ends, but we're going to just kind of enjoy the ride and see where it takes us from this point forward.
And absolutely, you're probably hoping that you get a chance to see them continue to play for another 3 weeks, and you go to the middle of March before you get done having them play basketball for you. But of course, North Central is the final game of the regular season on Friday, and then the region tournament begins going into next week Monday. And DT Meyer will have the call for all Sully Buttes action for postseason play as well. I know your focus is 100% on basketball and not even a slight think about baseball right now, but because of the weather it is, I want to give maybe some fans of baseball a little bit of hope right now that baseball season is coming. We're going to have some baseball. We're at post-state baseball in KCCR. It's going to be good. That's more so much for those that are listening right now that can maybe smile a little bit, that because even though it's snowy outside, that it's going to be warm at some point. We're going to have post-state baseball. And, of course, Brian White, the manager of post-state baseball. Like I said, you're focused, though, 100% right now on basketball.
Yes. I mean, my focus is very much on basketball right now, and obviously our school, taking care of the things we got to do in our school. And as athletic director, I got a lot of things going on as well. We got wrestling. We got kids heading off to state wrestling right now for Sully Buttes and getting ready for track and golf season and all those things. But yes, baseball will come around. I promise that the weather will change. And if you're interested, that we've got some baseball I should say some alumni playing in Arizona and down in Texas and places like that right now. And if somebody really wants to get kind of that taste of baseball, you can always go on some live streams and watch some of our alumni play at the college level, and they're starting to have some really good years, and it's kind of fun to follow those guys. So, and it won't be long till we got some high school baseball going as well. So we're excited to watch those guys go out and compete when the basketball season gets over, which I know or the wrestling season gets over, which I know they're all excited. They're all raring to go, and you got state wrestling. I know Jaden Weeby's way up there. Deegan Huska's way up there. I think they both won their regions this past week, so they're excited and raring to go. So they'd be fun to go watch. And then as the boys basketball team kind of winds down their season and gets ready to have an opportunity to go to a state tournament or play in the round of 16 to go to the state tournament, I know. But when that gets over, they'll be fun to watch, getting ready for the baseball season as well. So we're excited for baseball. I always am. I love that time of year. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun. But at this point in time, we're definitely focused on all the other activities that we've got going on at our high schools. So, but it's a fun time of year. It's exciting. You know, you're getting ready for spring, so you're excited about that. But you're also focused on the finishing up your basketball and wrestling season. So it's one of my favorite times of year.
Absolutely, yeah. One of my favorite times too is the wrap up of winter sports. As much as I hate to see winter sports come to an end, this time of the year is so much fun. And then, of course, then it starts to make that turn into spring and get some baseball going. Coach Brian Wiley, the Slow-Beats Chargers. Hey, I appreciate the time as always. Always fun talking to you. Good luck on Friday. Good luck in the region tournament, and looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, appreciate it. And I forgot to throw a shout out to our girls basketball team, who's having a great year as well. So we're excited about their opportunities to go to a state tournament here and win a couple games this week. So they with the snow, they got moved to Thursday and Saturday this week. So if anybody's raring to watch a little basketball, they'll be playing Thursday and Saturday.
That's right, and being the number 1 seed, they will be home in Oneida on Thursday and Saturday. As long as they win, they'll be at home until the Sodak 16. So, and of course, DT will have coverage of those games as well as the boys' games also to finish out the basketball season. So, Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck this week, and good luck next week. And looking forward to talking again soon.
Thanks for covering us. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coach Brian Wiley, the Slow-Beats Chargers, back with more Coach's Corner after this here on a KCCR.
For an excellent choice to meet, greet, or eat, be sure to head to Downtown Pier and the Long Branch. The Long Branch has plenty of room for the big groups, cozy spots for that intimate setting, and you're going to love the selections and variety on their menu. Plus, their specials are sure to please. There's a fantastic variety of libations available, and it's a great place to unwind. Now, home of KCCR Coach's Corner Wednesday nights, come on down to the LB, the Long Branch, 351 South Pier Street, downtown Pier.
It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pier area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your health care is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
This is Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota Sports Station, AM 1240, today's KCCR.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR, joining me is Coach Matt Thorson of the Pierre Governor girls wrestling team, as they are going to be competing in the state tournament starting tomorrow. It'll be Thursday and Friday out in Sioux Falls. And, Coach, it's good to talk to you again. And you've had the full weekend off as the region tournaments took place for the boys, but the girls were off this past weekend. Let's first talk about that. What did this weekend consist of? Was it rest? Was it some kind of work? What did you guys do?
Well, Saturday and Sunday we took the time off. These girls have been working and grinding for months on end, so it's nice to really have the first weekend off since Christmas. We had a little bit of a team bonding day on Friday. We played some cornhole, and they had some karaoke and things like that. But other than that, no, they had the weekend off, and it sounds like they recovered and had a good time.
And I mean, for you as a coach and for you getting ready for the state tournament, it's probably nice to see, and not so much being stress-free weekend, but kind of getting rid of some of the stress, because as grueling as a wrestling season is, there's some added pressure, and especially for this Pierre Governor team, some added pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's good for the bodies to recover a little bit, and just having that weekend off, because they've been going 6 days a week for the majority of the season. So having this time to recover before a big state tournament like that, I think is really going to be beneficial for our girls. And we're going in 100%. We're healthy. We're ready to roll now.
We'll talk about several wrestlers in particular, but two that won the state championship last year, Marley Shorter and Sierra Mcfarland, both are already into the quarterfinals, as they both received byes into the quarterfinals in their respective weight classes. So it's one less win to get, but still going to be some really good competition. What do you expect from them to try and because they got the target on their back, being the defending state champion? What do you expect from them to try and be a two-time state champion?
I don't expect them to really think of it like that. I don't want them to think, I need to, do whatever it takes to win the state championship again. We focus all week, and our focus is to focus one match at a time. Concentrate on whatever your task at hand is, and for them, it's their quarterfinal matchup, which neither one of them has a cakewalk into the final. Sierra's got a tough girl second round, and we got to get past first round first. But both her and Marley, they've got their work cut out for them. They can absolutely do it and get the job done, but it's no cakewalk, and that's good. That's what a state tournament should be. It should be difficult and rewarding to make it to the championship, and that's exactly what it will be for them.
And this is you got the 10 weight classes this year. It's a much different look than what it was last year, and nothing was a cakewalk to win it last year, but it as it should be, it's going to be even more difficult to win in year 2 than it was to win in year 1.
Yeah, and a big part of that is obviously we got more numbers throughout the state in wrestling, but we also are combining A's and B's this year. So you got tough teams like Canton and Viber. There's, a lot of teams that have individual talented wrestlers on their team. So twice as many teams, twice as many wrestlers. That's twice as much competition. So like you said, the work was cut out for them last year, but even more so this year with the combination of the two classes.
Do you like that as the coach? Do you like that there's all these more wrestlers and I wouldn't say bigger weight classes. Actually, there are bigger weight classes because there's a lot more in each of the weight classes, but all the weight classes that you have, I know you like that, but do you like that there's so many more wrestlers competing?
I think, especially from a fan's point of view, it's awesome because you get to see all the wrestlers, and there's always that argument with the boys wrestling. You combine to see who truly the best wrestlers in the state are. But with the girls, we get to see that. We get to see who the best wrestlers in the state at each weight are. There's no separation between A's and B's, and like you said, there's more numbers. And right now, I don't think the state of South Dakota has enough numbers to justify two classes. Hopefully at some point we get to that point. But for right now, it'd be really difficult to have an A and B class. And I think the SDH SAA does a good job with, making common sense decisions and figuring out that there's just no way that we can have two classes right now. And I like it. I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but it's good competition. You get to see really good matches. So I enjoy it.
Again, talking with Coach Matt Thorson here of the Pierre Governor girls wrestling team, as they will be competing in the state tournament. Thursday and Friday are the individual portions of the state tournament in Sioux Falls, and then Saturday is that team state dual tournament for the boys' side. But also there's a team score now for the Pierre Governors and for the girls wrestling, where last year it was you were cheering on your teammate, but really it didn't affect you, and it doesn't affect you in your weight class, but it now affects the team in general, trying to win a team state championship. And so there's even added more fun to each match and more fun to each team, watching each teammate wrestle.
Yeah, it definitely brings a whole new component to the sport itself. Last year, you really focused on what you had to do for yourself, and that was really it. There was no team score. Now it's just an added bonus. It makes it that much more of a team sport, which is really exciting because these girls love that. They love the idea of working for each other and doing whatever I can do to help myself, but also help the team. And that's been something, we don't really focus too much on the team score because the only way you can help the team is if you do well yourself. So we let the team score kind of take care of itself. But it is fun to look at it. It's exciting for them, and it's added, motivation for them to not just win for yourself, but win for your team and help put us in a position at the end of a tournament to where we're in a place where we can, have success as a team.
And of course, these brackets and all the information, you can go to kccradio.com and follow the link to get all these brackets with all 10 weight classes for the girls, and it'll be all 14 for the pure boys as well, as they all qualify for the state tournament. But I know we've talked about it every single time you've been on Coach's Corner, but now that we're at the end of the season, want to mention again that this Pierre Governor team has no seniors. It's juniors, sophomores, freshmen, 8th graders, 7th graders, all competing in the state tournament. So you're going to see these names have the opportunity to do the same thing again next year. And that is so much fun because while it's still new, all these girls are going to be veterans of this sport by the time that they're done wrestling it for high school.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, our oldest group is juniors, and they started out as sophomores last year when we all kind of started learning their names, and that those names kind of got thrown around throughout the state because they had so much success. And by the time next year comes around, that's 3 years where you're hearing the same names over and over again, which is really cool, and it's really fortunate for these girls to have that opportunity to really make a name for themselves and make a name for the sport. I think it's been really good, and the community of girls wrestling and the people involved with it are just awesome. It really is. It's growing so much, and I feel like that the quality of wrestling is exponentially growing every year, and I hope that will continue along with the numbers of girls coming out. But it's fun to follow them year after year and not just have them out for 1 year and then they're gone, they graduated. So we've got a pretty cool opportunity to see this same exact group wrestle for 3 years and have a lot of success.
And also, I think overall, and not just Pierre, but there's a lot of weight classes that hardly have any seniors competing at all, which means that there's going to be a lot of fun. And while it's going to be fun this year, it's going to continue to be fun because we're going to see these same names over and over again.
Yeah, and I think that's just it makes sense. I mean, it'd be tough for you to want to go out as a senior and try a sport out, especially when you're already in something like basketball or swimming or gymnastics. That's why you see so many young girls, is because they've got time to really hone their skills and improve over years instead of, seniors, they just got 3 months to try to get as much done as they can. And that's a big reason you see so many young girls and not as many upperclassmen. It's for that reason, because wrestling is a pretty difficult sport to just pick up in a couple months. Between the rules and the moves and the skills that are involved, it takes a while to learn them, and that's why you see the quality improving so much every year, because you can tell what girls are putting in the time in season and out of season, because you quickly learn these things, and you can put yourself at a huge advantage just by putting in a lot of mat time throughout the year.
Again, talking with Coach Matt Thorson here of the Pure Girls Wrestling Team. So, last couple of questions here before I let you go, and I know you've been a busy man this week, and we'll be very busy the next couple of days as well. But you mentioned too, you want to take it one match at a time. So maybe for you as a coach to kind of look forward and not let the girls do that. But how do the Pure Governors win multiple state championships individually first?
Well, kind of like what we said, you got to focus on one match at a time. So many times, boys or girls, they look forward to, my big match is going to be my semifinal match. And you know what? You might not get there if you look too far ahead. So the only way we can have multiple state champions is if we got a lot of people that focus on whatever the task at hand is. There's going to be a lot of break time in between our matches. So, and I tell the girls it's important to make sure you're locked in when you should be locked in. But then when there's a 4-hour stretch where you're not wrestling, it's important to check out too, because it can be mentally exhausting being focused and engaged for that long. It's a long day. So we got to be smart throughout the day, and we got to know when it's time to, focus up and get locked in. And then we also have to know, okay, I'm not going to be wrestling for a while, so it's important to get my mind off of it, relax, and just take a break, because it can be exhausting. But yeah, just like I said, take one match at a time, and you can't just say it. believe it. It's difficult to do. It's difficult to do when you see that matchup in the semifinals or the finals. But you have to understand and believe that the most important match is the one I'm currently in.
And finally here, I said it last year that and there was no team state championship last year, but the Pierre Governors definitely won it. They had the best state tournament last year. How do you guys do that again? How do the girls officially win the first team state championship this year?
Our horses have to be horses for us. We talked yesterday about, we have a plethora of talented girls in here who can get the job done, but can you get the job done when the lights are the brightest, when people are watching? Can you still compete at a high level? And that's going to be what it comes down to. I know these girls have what it takes to stand on top of the podium as a team, but that doesn't mean much unless you can get it done on the mat. You got to take care of yourself, and that's what takes care of the team. And we talked about, I would love it if every single one of you won the state championship. I would love it. Realistically, some of us are going to lose a match. How are you going to come back to the wrestlebacks? Are you going to pin your way to the wrestlebacks? Because championships are won in the wrestlebacks. And we're going to rely heavily on some of those girls coming back and competing for third place or as high as they possibly can to get as many team points for us as possible.
Coach Matt Thorson of the Pierre Governor girls wrestling team. Again, they will all take place Thursday and Friday from Sioux Falls. We'll have updates throughout the weekend here on KCCR as we'll talk about Class A, Class B, and then the girls' state wrestling tournaments as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always is. It's wrestling state championships are one of the best weekends of the entire year when it comes to high school sports. So we're really looking forward to it. Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Good luck this weekend, and looking forward to seeing what these girls can do.
All right. Thank you for having me.
That is head coach Matt Thorson. We'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR.
Dale and DT here for the LB.
Dale, the Long Branch offers variety, live music, and drink specials to help you unwind.
True, but you have got to try one of the most diverse menus available.
Got to get in a shout out for their wings. Some of the best in town. Tuesdays, they have wing specials and a killer selection of flavors.
And now, the LB is home of KCCR's Coach's Corner. Wednesday nights up on the big stage.
Come for the food, stay for the fun. The LB, the Long Branch, 351 South Pier Street in downtown Pier.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your health care is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Gateway Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre still wants your trade or your spare vehicle, and we're willing to give you top dollar, and we'll throw in an additional 250 Pierre Pride dollars. Sell us your car, and Gateway Ford Lincoln Toyota will give you an additional 250 Pierre Pride dollars. Trade in your vehicle for a new or different one, and Gateway Ford Lincoln Toyota will give you 250 Pierre Pride dollars. Gateway Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit GatewayFordToyota.com.
This is Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota Sports Station, AM 1240, today's KCCR.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR, joining me is Coach Sean Lewis of the Pierre Boys Wrestling Team after we got done talking with Coach Matt Thorson of the Pierre Girls Wrestling Team. So, Coach, let's go ahead and jump right into this here, because the state tournament, this is what you wrestle for all year. This is one of the most exciting weekends, if not the most exciting weekend of the entire high school sports season, is state wrestling weekend. And you guys qualified all 14 members of the Pierre wrestling team to be in the state tournament. So first off, but just looking at that, I know that's probably a goal pretty much throughout the entire every year, is to get everybody there. Talk about the accomplishment of being able to get all 14 of those guys to be in the state tournament.
You always talk about it as one of your goals, but, the reality of it is being perfect and getting all 14 through is a pretty tall task. I don't necessarily care what region or time or anything, to be able to qualify your entire team in an individual sport and all 14 of them means a lot of things have to go right for you. And so to be able to do that, was a pretty special day. And, and then on top of it, not take any fourth only having 3/3 and everybody else in the finals and winning championships. It was a pretty special day for our region tournament.
And of course, the peer wrestling team. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's expected, but it kind of is an expectation from outside of the peer wrestling team. The expectations of probably of the community is to qualify everybody and to be one of those one of the best teams in the state. But time in and time again, the peer governor wrestling is one of the best teams in the state.
I think a lot of people get spoiled here in Pierce. They don't quite understand the magnitude, I guess, of what's reality has been accomplished in the past 12 to 15 years. And I mean, having sustained success like we've had doesn't come very often. But year after year, you're seeing Canton in the Bees and Winter in the Bees, and now Kimball White Lake in the Bees, and you've constantly seen Pierre and Rapid City Stevens. Now you've seen the emergence of Brandon Valley. But Rapid City Stevens and Pierre haven't went anywhere on top of it. So we've been spoiled with it. It is definitely a feat. It's a lot of expectation from the community, and year after year we seem to be able to meet and or exceed that expectation. So we're just glad we can do so.
And there's a lot that goes into this weekend, and there's it's a little bit different than last year, but it's still the same as last year. You get the state dual tournament. You guys get a chance to repeat as state dual champions, but it's a little bit different of a format. It's all individual Thursday, Friday, and then it turns into the state dual tournament on Saturday. So that element is a little unknown. But what do you expect from that? What are you thinking going into this weekend, knowing that you get all the individual and guys might wrestle a whole lot and then have to come back and then try and wrestle 3 more times on Saturday?
I think for us, we're going to be fine. Our kids seem to have a lot of heart and a lot of pride. And so, I mean, that's what you get into down in day 3. We've heard some rumors of some people weighing in, people all over other teams, just crazy places on that Saturday. And I mean, I have no clue. You won't know until you get through it. The disappointing thing is we've had people come up to us and say, hey, we're coming to the championships on Friday. And then you got to burst their bubble and let them know there's only the duels on Friday. Like if you want to see individual championships those are on Friday and not Saturday. So, Saturday and all the duels, understands the schedule and gets out, because I know there's a lot of people that don't know, that are like, hey, we're coming on Saturday, and we're going to be done by about 3-5 o'clock somewhere in there. So it's a little bit different schedule.
Yeah, and of course, the good thing is, and hopefully that the peer faithful will and take that into heart too, that you got to get there, Thursday morning. If you're going to go there for the weekend, you got to get there Thursday morning, get ready to watch the individual stuff, and then watch on Friday as well, and then stay Saturday as well. If you're looking for individual and state in the duels to be on the same day, well, it's just not how it is this year, and maybe it goes back again next year the way it was a year ago. But either way, for this year, you got to come for multiple days. You got to be there for all the days and for all the fun. And of course, the good thing about Pierre is Pierre travels very well, and it should be a lot of fun on that Saturday. Let's talk about let's talk about the dual state championship, because you get your first matchup against Brookings, a 4-5 contest. There is a lot of good teams, and Brookings being at 5. It's not an easy competition to get into that second round, and it's not going to be easy to get past the semifinals or through a state championship. But that's what makes it the state duel so exciting.
Yeah, we got Harrisburg in that first matchup at 4-5.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean we haven't seen them for a really long time as far as the team. So I mean, we dueled them right away. They're our very first duel of the season, one that I was definitely a little bit nervous for, with what they had returned and the way that they had kind of looked in some early season matches. And we were spoiled enough to have it at our home, and we took care of business at home. And I was a little bit surprised by our dual score of us taking it to them as such. But we definitely won't take anything for granted. As last year, our very last dual loss of the year was to Mitchell, and then we had Mitchell first round, and we turned around and took care of business. So in the sport of wrestling, it's very easy to flip scores, just kind of getting a couple matches go your way that didn't go your way before. So we're definitely going to have our best from round 1 all the way through, hopefully a round 3 and a placing round.
Again, talking with Coach Sean Lewis here of the Pure Wrestling team as they will start tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on Thursday, 9 a.m. Friday, get things going. And then I believe 11 a.m. is the start of the state dual tournament on Saturday. But there's just a lot that goes on. And, of course, you have all 14. The girls have all 10. So there's 24 individual wrestling. And then Saturday, you get to watch the Pure Governors and kind of maybe sit and watch the entire team and not have to try and move from mat to mat. You can just sit and watch the one mat for the Pure Governors. But there's a lot of fun. And, of course, you mentioned about the individual group that everybody plays third or higher. What does that say about this 14 that they can make a run at multiple individual state championships?
Yeah, with these 14, it's actually really odd, but our 14 that wrestled here at the region tournament have never all stepped foot on the mat at the same time. It was the very first time that we've had this group of 14 wrestle in the same tournament at the same time in a duel any other time throughout the season. So, kind of a testament of we've done the right things to get healthy at the right time. Ultimately, I think that these guys are wrestling at their best, so we're peaking at the right time. And, hopefully that's not only a testament to these guys, but ultimately our coaching staff with, knowing and understanding the end game and where we want to be the strongest, which is ultimately at the state tournament and, not anywhere else throughout the year.
And also the team score, the team championship for individual on Thursday and Friday. What does it take to, you guys won multiple titles in a row with the team score. How do you do that this year again?
Trying to win the thing with Brandon Valley being as absolutely loaded as they are is going to be a tall task, but it's definitely one that, this cruise up for. I think your top 6 teams are just absolutely going to be in a dogfight with one another, and I think we'll be able to tell pretty early where it is that we're going to stack up. We see quite a bit with Rapid City Stevens in the first 2 rounds. And so, if we can, match up and get those matchups done and in our favor, I definitely think that, we got a very, very positive state tournament our way. And, on the flip side, if we don't take care of the majority of those, then I think, Rapid City Stevens is definitely, in the driver's seat for those higher positions as well. So I think we'll know pretty early on day one where it is that we're sitting.
Again, talking with Coach Sean Lewis here of the Pure Governor Wrestling Team. The boys squad that will be competing all 14 weight classes have a Pure Governor in it. Before we start to wrap things up here, talk about your seniors, the guys that will be competing for the final time here as a Pure Governor, what they've meant to this program this year, but also what they leave a lasting impact on.
Yeah, the whole group's kind of a no-nonsense group. They just get things done. I text them and say I want this done. And if I get a response back at all, which is kind of uncommon, but either way, it's done. From Noah Williams, Nate Williams, they've been staples in the lower part of our lineup, forever. Aiden Schaefer's been in our varsity lineup, I'm pretty sure, since a 7th grader. Blake Judson, absolute workhorse, what those guys are doing. Then you got Kylan Horsley, who stuck it out with us, and we're taking him to the tournament as well. Just, an absolute just gem of a kid to be around. And then, we got the behind-the-scenes senior as well with Faith Manu, who has been a manager for the last 4 years. And, you get kind of close to those girls as they're with you, and, they're with you the whole time and taking care of all the stuff, and they kind of become like another daughter to you as well. So, going to be sad to see her go. And but she's going to be going and doing some cool things throughout the military. So, props to her for being around these boys. I think that being around these boys and putting up what she does with them, I don't think the military's got much more to offer.
Again, talking with Coach Sean Lewis here of the Pure Wrestling Team. Now, you personally, before, again, we wrap things up, you personally also have a vested interest on the girls' side, not just because of the Pure Governors, which you obviously have a vested interest because of that, but your daughter is going to be wrestling for the first time in the state tournament. How do you, now as a dad and a coach, how do you handle that? Because you're not the Pure girls coach, you're the Pure boys coach. So you got to pay attention to all those guys, but then you also want to try and kind of sneak a peek at your daughter wrestling too.
Yeah, it'll be a sneak of a peek, and that's what it'll be. Is I got to be a coach to these guys first. And I get a chance to be dad and to give her a hug and a kiss and a high five. I'll do that. We're way better off with me being dad and definitely not being coach, and blurring any of those lines. So, we're going to get lucky that the girls are going to wrestle at the beginning of the rounds before the guys do. So I will have a chance to get her a peek, but ultimately I'll be, focused on getting my guys ready and things like that. And then, when I get a chance, she's going to get that hug. She's going to get that high five. And, hopefully she can just relax and do what she's kind of been doing for a really long time. With her, she's one of the girls who had the, pleasure of actually wrestling in her youth program a little bit. So, she had a group of guys who were in her grade that pretty much took her in and wrestled with her every day and didn't give one iota of whether or not that she was a girl or a boy. It was just another practice partner getting to train with. And so, the understanding that those boys had back then when this was not even a real popular thing, but it was something she wanted to do along with their parents is, definitely commendable. I think very highly of probably those 4 or 5 boys that took her in and did the thing and, treated her just like another one of the guys as they ultimately helped fuel this fire that she's got. And, even as young as she is, I'm just, as a dad, kind of hoping she sees a lot of success because I see how hard she works and I think she deserves it.
All right, then our final question here before we let you go, because you already kind of mentioned how to get a team state championship and multiple individuals, but how do you finish off a state dual champion and be a repeat state champion?
On the individual side of things, we need all 14 of our guys scoring points. If we can get 14 guys scoring points, that puts us in a driver's seat, right there first and foremost. And then, moving there, it's not just winning matches and everybody scoring points. We're going to need some bonus points along the line. So we're going to have to be able to get out there and put people away. And, it's a philosophy that echoes throughout our room and our whole program. And so I think our kids know and understand that. And then, we'll get the chance to regroup and look at individual matchups when we get into that dual state tournament. And from there, it's one match at a time, one position at a time, one score at a time, and not taking anything for granted is any point in time you're not guaranteed the next one. And so if we can have that singular mindset and that singular focus, I really think that we can definitely, do some good things. And, ultimately, if we can't win the championship, we want the next best thing, and we're going to stay hungry to be as high on the podium as we can.
Head coach Sean Lewis of the Pierre Governor Wrestling team of the boys' side. They start their tournament tomorrow, 9 a.m., Thursday, 9 a.m. For the boys and for the girls' state tournament wrestling in Sioux Falls. Friday continues individually. Then Saturday, the Governors will take on Harrisburg in the first round of the state dual tournament, looking to repeat as state champions there as well. Coach, I appreciate the time as always. It's always fun talking to you. I'm sure we'll talk before the end of the state tournament, but good luck. Safe travels, good luck, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what the Pierre Governors can do this weekend.
Absolutely. We're hoping to see as many green fans in the stands as we can. Come take off school, do your thing, and pack it in because the Governors typically always put on a show, and we definitely appreciate all the support we get.
Absolutely. Coach Sean Lewis of the Pierre Governor Wrestling team. We'll be back to wrap up Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR.
DT and Dale here for the Long Branch in downtown Pierre. The LB is a great place to kick back, relax, and unwind.
It has been for years, and it has a fantastic menu for lunch or dinner. Love that variety.
Yeah, good point. But we would be remiss if we didn't tell you about the best wings in town.
Tuesdays at the LB, try the delicious wings. And the more you buy, the more you save. The LB, the Long Branch in downtown Pierre. Now the home of KCCR's Coach's Corner, Wednesday evenings.
For 30 years, Todd's Electric Service has had the privilege of providing electrical wiring solutions for residential, commercial, and agricultural customers in central South Dakota. From small service calls to large commercial projects, Todd's Electric Service has experienced electricians for any job. Call 223-2518 to schedule your project. Todd's Electric Service is your line to power. 223-2518.
Wagner Auto Company is your complete transportation headquarters. You'll find a great selection of quality new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep vehicles, plus a great selection of quality pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll take good care of you after the sale with a full-service parts and body shop, along with a friendly financing team that'll do their best to get you into your next new or pre-owned vehicle with financing that fits your budget. Wagner Auto is your local, family-owned, full-service dealership in Pierre. WagnerAuto.com. That's WagnerAuto.com.
This is Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota Sports Station, AM 1240, today's KCCR.
And that'll wrap it up for us here on this edition of Coach's Corner live for the Long Branch on KCCR. Join us again for the final 2 weeks, 5:30 to 6:30 right here on KCCR. Thanks again to Coach Steve Steele of the Hawaii Capitals, as well as Coach Brian White of the Sylvius Chargers, Coach Matt Thorson of the Pierre Girls Wrestling Team, and Coach Sean Lewis of the Pierre Boys Wrestling Team. Same time, same place, next week, Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30 here on KCCR live from the Long Branch.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Coach's Corner live from the Long Branch has been brought to you by Kruger Contracting, Avera St. Mary's, Bank West, Birding Electric, Gales Gas, Edward Jones Financial, Gateway Ford, Lincoln and Toyota, Midwest Co-op, and Oahe Federal Credit Union. Coach's Corner on KCCR is also brought to you by Lamb Motor, First Dakota National Bank, Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, and Wagner Auto. Join us every Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 6:30 for Coach's Corner, live at the Long Branch in Pierre or on air at KCCR or kccrradio.com. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.